Ladies, gentlemen, and disappointments, we are coming to you live from the Woman Caves in New York and Connecticut. My name is Leslie.
And my name is Melissa.
And we are Verbally Disastrous. Why, hello everyone. I am sharing with you a quote from Michael Lamb, who is a child psychologist. Fathers are the forgotten contributors to child development. I had previously stumbled upon another interesting TEDx Talk YouTube video that I decided to review back in January of 2021. I had posted my review on my blog. Therefore, I circled back to turn it into a podcast episode since the content is interesting. This YouTube video is entitled, "What Representing Men in Divorce Taught Me About Fatherhood." The TEDx talk was given by attorney Marilyn York from Reno, Nevada. Marilyn works within her family law practice as a men's rights family law firm. Marilyn's law firm has worked with over 2,000 men, including over 650 fathers since 2001. The law firm also employs another 9 female lawyers that exclusively fight for men's rights in family court. The law firm has 2 main reasons for only representing men. Firstly, men are considered absolutely crucial during the process of bringing up children. Additionally, men are considered the disadvantaged parents both in family court and amongst society. The law firm bases their reasoning on statistics with more than 17 million American children who are growing up without their fathers. Her law firm chooses to represent the underdog during a divorce. I shall review Marilyn's lessons learned as a men's rights attorney for the past 20 years. The first lesson that Marilyn has learned during her pursuit for equality and justice in divorce was that men parent differently than women. Yes, I believe that wholeheartedly. I learned different lessons from my mother than my father. There were some lessons that both parents taught me, such as a strong work ethic, do not steal, be honest, religious studies, proper hygiene, and how to cook. Yes, my dad was a great cook. How to manage tasks inside and outside the house. I did learn many behaviors and lessons from my mother. However, it was my father that had given me the most powerful lessons. My dad taught me about credit. It was the devil, and just have cash. How to save money for what you want or need in life. My father took me hunting, sometimes for an entire week. Fishing, crabbing, skiing, boating, swimming, and many other activities. He taught me how to live off the land and many survival skills, such as field dressing a deer. I went with him to the truck shop and learned hardware sizes, how to change oil and transmission fluid, changing or plugging a tire, maintaining an 18-wheeler, and driving an 18-wheeler. The woman that I am today is because of the life lessons I received from my father. A second lesson Marilyn learned was the role a father plays in a child's life is that it's crucial for the development of that child. According to the 2016 census statistics, 2 out of 5 children have grown up with no father. Oftentimes, the court system gets hung up on a parent knowing a child's every detail. A court will use specific details a mother typically handles to determine a father's competence in caring for a child. Admittedly, I could rattle the name of the pediatrician, doses, allergies, physical dates, teachers, and other pesky details. However, the details that men know about lie within the child's imagination and how to express themselves. A father will know a child's biggest superhero, their fears, their dreams, and their limitations with sports and activities. I am sure that no matter the details that I think I may know, my son's father will have a varied data set than mine. I have always felt that a father is super important in a child's life. I cannot imagine not letting him be involved in his life. As a young widow, I saw the impact that having no father can have on my eldest son. He suffered an internal battle that I have yet to realize the magnitude of his loss. A third lesson learned during the divorce process was that fathers, too, also have a genetic bond and an instinct with their children. Marilyn illustrates that out of the 100 men who underwent a paternity test, only 2 came back as not the biological father. This genetic bond is vital for the happiness and contentment of a child. Statistics have shown that a lack of that bond can be disastrous amongst our youth. Despite knowing this, society and laws make it appear that fathers are not important. Marilyn spoke about a legal principle known as the tender years doctrine that had served as the family court's standard legal principle all the way up to the 1980s. The legal principle predecessor came from England as the Custody of Infants Act of 1839. These principles came during a time when the children were home and their mothers had created an assumption for maternal custody for children aged 7 and younger. These principles came during a time when the children were home with their mothers and created a presumption for maternal custody for children aged 7 and younger. In England, the presumption went as far as age 16 years old for maternal custody. The more modern child law that replaced older legal principles is the best interests of the child doctrine. It appears the family court legal system is slowly evolving to society. A fourth lesson that Marilyn learned was the number of high statistics that have a deep impact on young kids, courtesy of the Center for Disease Control. The common denominator for 71% of high school dropouts, 90% of runaway kids, and 63% of youth suicides is not having a father. Children are coming from divorced parents at a high rate. There is an average of 2.5 million divorces per year in the U.S. This means that someone is getting divorced every 13 seconds. Let that sink in for a bit. On the other hand, there are a sizable number of children not coming from a divorced home. For each year in the U.S., there are 1.5 million babies born to a couple out of wedlock. Of those babies born out of wedlock, 40% of them do not have a father in sight. According to various child psychology research studies, children who have fathers test better in a variety of development categories. Research shows that children with fathers have stronger cognitive and motor skills, elevated physical and mental health, become better problem solvers, are more confident, curious, and empathetic. The fifth lesson that family court has taught Marilyn: fathers are the disadvantaged parent in a divorce. It is unfair in society and in family court what mothers can legally get away with in life. A mother does not have to put a father on a child's birth certificate, nor does she have to notify the father that a child exists. Many people wonder why that omission is just a moral issue and not also a legal issue. There is no legal recourse for a mother who falsely declares a man as the father who is in fact not the biological father. Upon discovery, the mother does not have to endure legal issues for lying or taking child support under false pretenses. In some states, the declared father despite DNA proving he is not the father, continues as the legal father for the child. Now the child is not aware of the health risks that lie on the paternal side. Not having access to your biological father is a travesty of justice for the child. However, if a father suspects a mother of not being fit, they must submit documented evidence. If the same father feels that the child is in danger, removing the child from the home would result in felony kidnapping charges. In these many examples above, yes, I believe that mothers do have the home field advantage in family court. How the court proceeds should always be in the best interest of the child. This is why the father oftentimes is shortchanged in family court. Forcing legal or financial action on any mother that lied would deeply impact the child. One may say that the lesson learned for the man is to choose better with whom you deposit your seed in a woman going forward. The question Marilyn posed at the end of her talk was how society can help with the process of fathers being in their child's lives. Society needs to recognize that fathers are of equal importance. Employers should allow sick days and encourage fathers to attend events for the child via affording time off. In some states, fathers are included in paid family leave, so that is helpful. Every man should be encouraged to attend their child's delivery. Every man should be allowed immediate time off at home to also bond with the child. Society should not question a man's desire to be involved in his child's life. Taking time off should not be disguised as, quote, helping the mother, while serving as an excuse for the father to play video game marathons during bonding time. Mothers should encourage their children to engage with their fathers and seek guidance. How parents care for their kids today will show the fruits of their labor in the generations to come. I was a fan of Marilyn's talk, and I didn't find anything I disagreed with at all. I usually listen to people and usually take away a few goodies and toss back the sentiments that I do not agree with at all. Ms. York was very professional, laced with humor and sarcasm, rather animated with her delivery, offered some solid talking points with statistics, was not overly emotional with her thoughts, and clearly passionate about the subject matter. I can see myself getting along with her and even being a friend. I have not yet discussed the matter with my co-host Melissa. I am honestly not 100% sure about what her take would be on Ms. York's approach. Therefore, I won't speculate about it. I will have to send her the YouTube video and ask her about it. Then again, Melissa and I bounce many different topics off each other, and this could have been previously mentioned. Melissa and I have reflected in past podcast episodes about relationships. We're both the type to walk out with the same stuff we walked in with in a relationship. I can't imagine a man paying my bills for me. Well, now it is time to reflect on the subject with you. It is interesting how some men choose to get with a woman who was clearly broke before he met her. These women are not ambitious and don't have a pot to piss in prior to the relationship. You have to know that, in the event the relationship goes south, she will lean too much onto you financially after a divorce. Many people make assumptions that career women are bossy. Meanwhile, you have a lazy, broke ex bossing you around after a divorce. Go figure. That same person should take a chance on an ambitious career woman. The aftermath would have less of an impact on your wallet. Well, what do you think about divorce? More specifically, who benefits from a divorce? Who suffers the most? I believe that the children always suffer the most. You could never convince me otherwise. I was a child who got wrapped up in the talons of divorce. It is an anxiety-ridden game being a young pawn between your parents in a game of each trying to emotionally harm each other. Ideally, people should peacefully walk out of a relationship the same way that they walked in. They should each make their tongues bleed in an attempt to not smear each other in the presence of young eyes. In the midst of a divorce, you could have the nose of the local governing body in your business. I believe that a court system forcing a person to pay the other person alimony to maintain the same way of life post-divorce is ridiculous. The person forcing one party to pay 17% in child support is just too much to put on the other person as well. The parent should show receipts of how that 17% has been properly allocated. The child suffers when one party can't do much more than pay child support. It should be a flat amount of money offered and not a percentage of what a person makes to cover the child's expenses. For example, the cost of renting a one-bedroom is, say, $1,500, and a two-bedroom is $1,800. The extra cost for the extra bedroom should be divided into the 4 weeks. Then add a fair amount for the child's clothing and food budget. There is no reason for a woman or a man to get anything more than $1,000 a month for child support. Yes, I said it. Anyone who has a child needs to go out and make their own half of the money. No one should be sitting on the couch expecting the other parent to provide the financial means. A balance needs to be made so that both sides are able to look after the needs of the children. A person giving child support should not have to be relegated to living on a friend's couch, in their mother's basement, homeless, or living out of their car. That is totally unfair for a child to see one of their parents become destitute as a result of being milked for child support. I somewhat feel sorry for a parent who had a kid with a lazy person. However, you must have seen the signs. I was young and opted to go for a chill person in lieu of a drill sergeant for a partner. That ended up being a mistake, since the person became way too chill, meaning more like lazy over time. Yes, we all make choices. We must follow through with those choices and be civil with the former partner for the sake of the kids. If you are currently getting the short end of the stick, I am deeply sorry for you, and I wish you better days ahead. We need to learn lessons from the bad experiences and move forward to better future experiences. In light of all that was spoken about, this wraps up the topic. I want the next topic to be more lighthearted, I promise. I thank you for sticking around. Wherever you are in the globe, heat and humidity are ramping up again here on the streets of New York City. This is your host, Leslie, saying, peace out, Cub Scout. This wraps up another episode on the Verbally Disastrous podcast that can be found on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. For more information, head over to www.constructiontales.com. Thank you for listening, and have a great one.